Hey guys, it's Gretchen and welcome back to my channel. So I've been getting a lot of questions recently regarding my stretched ears. Ever since I started the process, I've been getting a lot of questions. But one question that always seems to come up is how do you care for your stretched ears? Kind of like after you've stretched them, like either in between stretches or once you've hit your goal size and you need to do like an aftercare type of deal. So for today's video, I thought I would just do some quick little tips for you all on how to keep your lobes or whatever you're stretching healthy and making sure that, you know, they don't deteriorate. I mean, you are creating scar tissue with each stretch and you don't want that to build up at all. You don't want to risk having the skin try and form over the jewelry. That also kind of depends on the jewelry that you have in, like the material. So these are just gonna be some quick tips. They're not many. You know, you care for whatever you've stretched the same way that you would any other piercing, kind of, sorta. We'll get to that. But yeah, so that's what this video is. So a few things to keep in mind is whether or not you were able to stretch perfectly fine, or if you ended up with like a tear or a rip. So we'll start there first. If you stretched and you find that you ended up with a tear of some kind, you are going to treat it as if it's a new piercing and do salt soaks. Now, I personally wouldn't recommend doing H2O in this case. You could, I don't see why you couldn't, but I think it also might be better for your, I want to say we're talking about lobes here. If we're talking about like if you've stretched your septum or your lip or something like that, could be the same thing, but I'm specifically talking about lobes because that's the only thing I've stretched and the only thing I know about. If you end up stretching and a tear happens, you want to do a salt soak, and that's where you take a little cup of warm water, put a little bit of salt in there. I will have the specific ratio in the description below because I never remember. So what you want to do is you want to mix up that concoction, and then in the case of your lobes, just take the cup and like hold your lobe in there and just let it soak, kind of like you would with any other piercing. You can do H2O, I don't see why you couldn't, but I think in this case it might be better just for the entire lobe to get the warm water and everything and just make it open up so that the salt can get in there, kind of cleanse everything, kind of heal everything up. So that's what you do in that case. Now, if you stretch and it's perfectly fine and it's healed, from what I've gathered in my research, you don't want to mess with it for the first few days to even a week after you've stretched it because your body's still getting used to the new stretch, getting used to the new jewelry, getting used to just being a different size. However, once you've gotten past that, I'd say maybe even 2 weeks just to give it a little bit of breathing room so that when you do start messing with it again, it doesn't hurt you or whatever you've stretched. At that point, you want to start doing massages. This is also helpful in the stretching process. Like if you're wanting to stretch up, doing massages can actually loosen up whatever you're stretching and make it a little bit easier for you. From what I've found, both from personal experience and research, is that the best time to do it is after you've taken like a really hot shower. Everything is loosened up, your pores are open. That is like the time to do anything regarding stretching. So what I mean by massages, you don't just grab onto your lobes and start massaging. Once you've gotten out of your hot shower and everything is all nice and toasty warm, you don't want your jewelry in for the massage. You want to pop it out because otherwise you can't really work all angles. There are several different kind of oils that you can use with your massages. You don't want to do a dry massage. That doesn't do anything for you. You want to use oils. From what I've found, the best kinds to use are like vitamin E oils, bio oils, or jojoba oils. Or is it jojoba? Jojoba. It's jojoba, right? Right. I don't remember. Those are some of the most common oils, some of the best oils. I'm sure there are other kind of oils. I probably wouldn't use like essential oils, but you never know. If you got nothing else, I don't know, slap some peppermint on there. I don't actually do that. But from what I've found, vitamin E, bio, and jojoba oils seem to be the most popular. I personally like bio oil. I use bio oil for pretty much everything. I use this on stretch marks. I use this on scars. I use this for massaging my lobes. Bio oil can pretty much go for anything. It also matches me today. I didn't plan for that, but that's kind of cool. Bio oil is my favorite. You can use whatever you want, but because there's so many healing properties with bio oil, I just prefer it. So all you're gonna do is put a little bit on your finger. Oil goes a long way. A long way. You don't need to sit there and like douse it all over your hands and get them all oiled up like you're about to give someone a massage. You just need a little bit on your fingers. And once you have a little bit on your fingers, you're just gonna sit there and massage your lobes. There's no set amount of time for how long you need to massage your lobes, but I wouldn't do it any less than a minute. And yes, a minute can seem very long when you're just sitting there rubbing your ears. I get that. I would even go longer, but if you're short on time, a minute is better than nothing at all. So if you need to do something else, just go fix a cup of coffee or something, or listen to some music while you sit there and rub your lobes. You can do them both at the same time, and then that way you cut your time. And when it comes to the massages, the oil itself is not the most important part. It's the actual act of the massage. The oil just helps get things flowing, get things moving, get things grooving. Doesn't matter which oil you pick. You do need an oil though, because a dry massage is not gonna do anything for you. But again, it doesn't matter what oil you use, just use one. What the massage actually ends up doing for you is that it breaks down that scar tissue that I mentioned previously that ends up building up through your stretches. That's just whether you have tears or not, scar tissue develops because you are expanding the size of whatever it is you're stretching. So the point of the massage is to break down that scar tissue so that, first of all, you don't have as much, and that it doesn't try to kind of grow around your jewelry. Ain't nobody want that. You don't want your jewelry to become part of you. You want to change it often. Kind of hard to do that when the skin is on it. So the reason why it's good practice to do these oil massages after a hot shower is because the hot shower can kind of open up your skin so that the oil can be absorbed. I know I just said that the oil is not the most important part of the massage, but it does help you. So just keep that in mind. The massage is the most important part, but the oil helps. Like I said in the beginning though, if you do end up having a tear or a newer stretch, treat that as if it's a new piercing and don't put oil on it. You want to do salt soaks until the tear has either healed itself or at least until you've given your body enough time to get used to the stretch. What other things can you do to make sure that your lobes remain healthy? One thing is deciding on what kind of jewelry you're gonna wear in whatever you've stretched. I personally am partial toward glass. Glass is one of the best materials that you can pick for your body. When a stretch is new, you don't want to use porous material, so like bone and wood. You don't want to put those in a brand new stretched piercing. So say your lobes have been stretched for several months. At that time, you can put something like wood or bone in there. But if you have just stretched up to a size and your body is still trying to get used to that new size, do not use anything that is porous because that can lead to infections. Doesn't always, not very common, but it can, and you don't want to risk that. So using things like stainless steel, glass, those are better for your body, especially during the healing process. You can continue to use those materials even after your body has healed, even after your body has gotten used to the stretch. Just don't use anything that is porous because you don't want the possibility of an infection, and that possibility is higher when you use something that is porous. I personally have never used things like bone or wood before. I don't know how I feel about them, but at the same time, I've never used them, so I can't really come up with my personal opinion on them. If anyone who has stretched lobes or anything stretched has used those materials below, let us know in the comments below, you know, how you feel about them, what you like about them, maybe what you dislike about them. Again, I don't know much about wood or bone or anything like that, so I can't really speak on that. Just from what I've gathered, they're more porous and just more infection inclined, but not always. These are just a few tips to making sure that your lobes, in this case I'm discussing stretch lobes, just remain healthy and nothing happens to them. You know, you spend all this time stretching to a certain size, you don't want something to go wrong with them. You want them to remain healthy. Oil massages are very key in doing it. They recommend it every day. You may not need to do it every day, but it's helpful for it. Make sure you do it maybe 3 times a week at least. Kind of like working out. They recommend every day, but you're good if you do it 3 times a week. Let us know in the comments below if you have any other tips on maintaining stretched lobe health. I know I personally would benefit from that. But yeah, if you've had stretched lobes for a long time, you know, let us know what kind of tips you found have been helpful over the years, what things you have found are not. I think we'd all appreciate it. But that is it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a big ol' thumbs up. Going down there and hit that subscribe button, wherever it may be, because I don't know, even though I do. This is just my shtick now. Also hit that notification bell in case you want to know when I upload, and in case YouTube wants to let you know when I upload, because I would really appreciate it. And until next time, bye guys.